In the martial arts, one of the things we got to understand is martial arts is not something you just know, it's something you do. If you don't practice your martial arts, you will lose the skills that you have. Part of why we use kata is because kata gives us the opportunity to practice our martial arts over and over and over again. At least the basics continue to be practiced again and again and again. What you don't practice, you will lose. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus says this: the person who hears my words and does them is like a man who built his house on the rock. The winds come and the rains blow, and at the end of the day, his house stands firm. But the person who hears my word and doesn't do them is like the man who built his house on the sand. When the rains come and the winds blow, his house crumbles to the ground. Your martial arts, in fact, any skill that requires practice to gain requires practice to maintain. Now, the reality is it may not require as much practice to maintain as it did to gain. As we've said before, at the Way Karate, we say 10 minutes a day is the way. Once you get to the point where you know your basic skills, if you will just practice them 10 minutes a day or more, you're going to be able to maintain those skills so that you're able to still protect yourself when the time comes. Mindset makes a big difference, but the more you can practice, the better off you are. And so we want to practice our skills so we maintain our martial arts ability. But more than that, we want to practice the things that Jesus has given us as abilities and as ways to follow him and draw near to God. We want to practice those practices so that we can become more like him. We can become more like Christ when we do what he says. We will have a house that is on a firm foundation. Our entire life will be something that can stand strong no matter what comes our way, because we're practicing the practices that Jesus gave us to practice. In the Sermon on the Mount, we have a whole bunch of those that are lined up. And here's what I would tell you. Learning those practices and following through on them is so important and so vital to living a healthy and full life that what we have done is we are creating a spiritual formation course. It's called Samurai Club. And Samurai Club is where we learn to become servants of Christ in a new way. We learn to go deeper with the practices that have allowed Christians to draw near to Christ and become more like him throughout the ages. These are consistent practices, and we're going to teach you how to do them, how to make the most of them so that you can practice the practices and have a house that stands firm.